Hello, Augies Worldwide. I'm Dave Kassler, amateur radio call sign KE0OG, here with another episode of Ask Dave. Today we're going to look at a question from Ed, K6SDW. He says he's been a ham since 1965, and he beats me out there. I became a ham in 1975. And for many years I sent and received QSL cards. Same here. I have piles of them. Now I use Logbook of the World and eQSL for this purpose, and I wonder if anyone sends old traditional QSL cards anymore. The answer is yes and no. Unfortunately, mostly no. QSL cards are getting hard to get printed because the old QSL card printers of the past have long evaporated. I have mine. What do they do with it? Had it out. I guess I put it back. This is my QSL card. I had it printed by W4MPY, the QSL man, who I think is now a silent key. His kids were going to take over the printing business from them, but you really got to understand ham radio to do that. So anyway, this is my QSL card. I have had quite a number of different QSL card designs in the past, including one of my own making. I was trying to figure out the IBM language called script, which is for its old mainframe VM computers. And the problem is that it's very complicated, and so I figured if I could make a QSL card with all the lines and everything like that, it'd be a very good opportunity to really learn script. And it did. It helped me quite a bit. So I used that for a while, and of course every time you move you need new QSL cards and yada yada yada. There are no contests anymore where you need to turn in cards. However, there are some overseas hams who still use QSL cards. And these days, when you go get your cards counted for DXCC or something like that, which you can do at about any ham fest, you have the combination of what's in Logbook of the World plus your paper QSLs. They still count for everything. You can get worked all states with a combination of Logbook of the World and QSL cards. There have been discussions between eQSL and the Logbook of the World people, and they have not come to a conclusion yet. The Logbook of the World people think that eQSL needs to be more secure so that you're quite certain that when you deal with another ham, you're dealing with the other ham. The process for Logbook of the World requires that there be some things in place. You get a postcard to your official FCC address, and you use that to log back into the system. It can be a little daunting to sign up for your Logbook of the World. But a lot of other countries don't have that kind of luxury, which makes it very hard for someone, say, in Ethiopia to sign up for Logbook of the World. So you might just get a card. Very often for DX stations over there, who are often visiting Americans or visiting Europeans who are operating in the host country for a while, they will often name a QSL manager, somebody that regular postal mail can get to fairly easily. So you send your card to them and then send the card back to you. Usually you have to include $1 or so for postage. I've noticed sending a letter overseas nowadays costs more than $1, so you might want to send $2. Used to be $1 was called a green stamp because of its green back. And for those of you who don't remember, organizations like grocery stores and so on like to give out points to their loyal customers, but they didn't have computers to keep track of those points, so they gave what are called these little stamps. And green stamps were the popular ones. So you got one really old metaphor to another really old metaphor. Anyway, a green stamp's a dollar bill. You probably want to include a couple. Some overseas hams insist on $5 if you want a direct response. The old-fashioned bureau, which allows you to send cards to overseas stations, still exists. You send your cards to the ARRL and you pay some amount per pound. I won't say what it is because I don't remember what it is and I don't know where to look to see what it is, but it's not very much. And these cards are sorted and sent to national QSL managers in other countries, and then the ham on the other end gets the card and sends you a card back. The Japanese are often preemptive in that they will send you the card first. Now, this means that you need to, not all the cards coming back from the other countries are available directly from the league. There are what are called call sign district QSL managers, and you have one. For example, my Zero Call gives me one, I think, in Kansas somewhere. And you keep on file some envelopes there with postage on them, some forever stamps, so that if you get cards, every so often they'll send them to you. Now, does that sound like a horribly slow process? The answer is absolutely yes, it is. It's terribly slow. It can take 2, 3, 4, or 5 years to get cards back in this way, and it's really, you're taking quite a chance when you put your card in the mail to go through the bureau. For the popular DX stations, as I said, they have QSL managers. You can send your card to them, and they'll check the logs that they get from the DX station and see if you're in there. Now, a lot of the big contesters overseas have Logbook of the World accounts, and they'll upload theirs there, so check that first. So there you have it. You've got normal QSL cards. By the way, it is postcard size, so you can put the address of the other ham on the back. The postcards are cheaper than regular mail, and there are forever postcard stamps. I have some here. These are kind of weird looking. They're little shells, and those are, it says on their postcard. Okay, just Postcard USA. And these are forever stamps for postcards. I like to send just the card. It's the way it's traditionally been done. I don't put them in envelopes because that gets to be a royal pain. But if somebody asks me for paper QSL, I'll send one. I'm one of a small number of hams in Ouray County, and there are county hunters who want Ouray County. So sometimes they'll ask me for a QSL card. I'm just about out. I need to reorder. I'll get something a little bit fancier than that. I'm going to be at Pacificon this weekend. By the time you view this, that'll be in the past. And see if I can get some more QSL cards printed. So the short answer to your question is this. The paper QSL cards are disappearing, but they are still around. When you do DX and things like that, you often need you're going to get a paper QSL from somebody, okay? If you use the bureau, it takes a long time, very long time, years. And if you use EQSL, those won't count for ARRL awards, although they're often more personalized. And the Logbook of the World is the way to go if you can. If you have trouble signing up for Logbook of the World, I have a couple videos on that. So there you have it. QSL cards are kind of fading away. You'll still see QSL cards up on people's walls. I used to pin them to the wall, and then I married Loretta. Those cards came down in about a New York minute. So there you have it. Please subscribe to this channel. It tells YouTube that it's a channel you like, and so it will recommend it to other people. Please go ahead and comment. If you think I said something wrong, just comment and quietly state what you think I did wrong, and I'll correct it. I've got one where I did an error in a video about decibels, to the point where I think I may make that video over again because it's an egregious error. And I thank W2AEW for pointing it out. Also, please click like, feed the algorithm for YouTube. Any sort of interaction with the channel is what YouTube is looking for. Dislikes and likes count about as much. I prefer the likes, of course. So until we next meet, 73.